Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Little, and I'm the chair of the Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering at the University of Pittsburgh. I would like to welcome you to our Spring 2020 virtual graduation ceremony. Thank you to the family and friends of our students who are here to virtually join us to celebrate this extremely important milestone in the life of the family of our department. In this time of unknown, we are thinking of our Pitt community and beyond. We wish health and safety for all. Although this virtual format was not what I had originally imagined or hoped for to celebrate the accomplishments of our students, I was very proud that our outstanding faculty and staff jumped at the chance to use technology to make sure that each student is recognized and inspired by their desire to contribute to the well-deserved congratulations that will be extended to these students today. Our students have been mentored by outstanding faculty who will introduce to you on the next few slides. On behalf of the Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering, I want to congratulate our Spring 2020 graduating class. The reputations of both the university and the Swanson School, as well as your unique educational experience here, will set you apart from others in your field. You are about to begin an incredible journey as you transition from students to alumni and take your first steps into a career, research position, or even pause to decide what comes next. Graduation from college is a time of great joy and anticipation for both students and families. The next few days will mark the end of years of study and individual sacrifices, but will also culminate in a set of experiences that will live in your memories forever. Whether you prepare to enter your profession or continue your education, I hope, upon reflection of your time spent here, you take away a sense of pride and achievement in yourself and in your school. As alumni, I hope you will continue to stay in touch with us and always be proud to be a part of the Swanson Engineering graduate family and part of the international family of Pitt engineers. At this time, we will recognize our graduating students who have led and participated in professional student organizations.
I am Taryn Bales, Vice Chair for Undergraduate Education, and I am privileged to serve as the AICHE Faculty Advisor as well as the Faculty Advisor for the ChemiCAR team. We'd like to recognize the student members of Pitt's chapter of AICHE and the officers and the student members of the ChemiCAR team. Founded in 1908, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers is a nonprofit organization providing leadership to the chemical engineering profession, representing 57,000 members in industry, academia, and government. AICHE provides forums to advance the theory and practice of the profession, upholds high professional standards and ethics, and supports excellence in education. The student chapter of AICHE at the University of Pittsburgh works to promote student-faculty interaction and prepare students for important decisions concerning postgraduate opportunities. Our student chapter has hosted numerous industry panels, potluck dinners, plant tours, game nights, and joint meetings with the local Pittsburgh AICHE chapter. Several of our student members also traveled to the annual conference, which was held in Orlando, Florida last November. We thank these students on their service to this organization, to their fellow students, the department, and the university. Our graduating student members include Charles Robinson, Rico Romeo, Megan Rusiewicz, Fatima Shadnam, Xavier Strittmatter, and Grace Watson. The Chemi Car competition requires teams to design a shoebox-sized car able to travel between 50 to 100 feet while carrying a payload between 0 and 500 milliliters of water. The car must be powered by a chemical reaction and include a second chemical reaction as a stopping mechanism. For the regional competition, which was held at Penn State, our Pitt team created 2 cars with different propulsion and stopping mechanisms. From a field of 23 cars, Pitt's cars placed 3rd and 5th, which qualified them to compete at the AICHE International Competition held during the AICHE Annual Conference, which took place in Orlando, Florida last November. Our Pitt Chemi Car team placed 3rd overall in the poster competition. And for the Chemi Car competitions, the teams faced a difficult obstacle this year. While we all prepared using raw board for the track, this year the raw board was placed on carpeting, which proved to be challenging for many of the teams to get the right traction and torque to get the car moving down the track. After the first run, our team was tied for last place with almost half of all of the competitors. Our team spent the next hour re-engineering their car and re-qualifying their car with their new design. Out of a field of 42 national and international teams, the Pitt Chemi Car team finished 12th place overall. We are especially proud of their ability to engineer a new solution in a very short period of time. It was a true demonstration of their engineering abilities. We thank these students on their service to this organization, to their fellow students, the department, and the university. The Chemi Car team graduating senior officers are Charles Robinson and Grace Watson, and the student members include Michael Bosley and Adnan Chowdhury.
Hello, I'm Götz Faeser, Omega Chi Epsilon Faculty Advisor. At this time, we would like to recognize the officers of Pitt's chapter of the Chemical Engineering Honors Society, Omega Chi Epsilon. With its mission to build strong relationships between undergraduate students, faculty, staff, and graduate students in Pitt's Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering, Omega Chi Epsilon IOTA chapter represents the top chemical engineering students at the University of Pittsburgh. We thank these students on their service to the organization, to their fellow students, the department, and the university.
As the Vice Chair for Undergraduate Education, I am delighted to recognize the officers and student members of Pitt's chapter of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. The Society of Petroleum Engineers is a professional organization whose stated mission is to collect, disseminate, and exchange technical knowledge concerning the exploration, development, and production of oil and gas resources and related technologies for public benefit, as well as to provide opportunities for professionals to enhance their technical and professional competence. Pitt's student chapter of the Society of Petroleum Engineers has hosted Engineering Energy. This event features Pitt alumni speakers who discuss their careers in the oil and gas industry. This is followed by a networking event and meeting with recruiters. They have also hosted plant trips, virtual reality demonstrations from Deep Well Energy Services, and various networking and social outings. We thank these students on their service to this organization, to their fellow students, the department, and the university. The SPE graduating senior officers are Sarah Holbert and Lauren Petrina. And the student members include Shalanka Fadness, Kyle Levis, and Shivan Patel.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce John Gargani, B.S. Chemical Engineering, 1986, an advisory board chairman for Chemical and Petroleum Engineering, to offer a message to our graduates.
Hi, I'm John Gargani. I currently serve as chairman of the advisory committee for the Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering at the University of Pittsburgh Swanson School of Engineering. But more importantly, 34 years ago, I was in exactly the same position that you are today. Now, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media, we didn't have streaming video, and we did not have COVID-19. But except for that, exactly the same situation. First off, I want to congratulate you on achieving your engineering degree. Not only is it an engineering degree, but it's a chemical engineering degree, and I'm sure we can all agree that chemical engineering is by far the most challenging of all the engineering disciplines. So once again, congratulations on your accomplishment. Dr. Bales asked me to share some words of wisdom with you as you move on to your careers, whether it be in academia or in industry. Much of your education to this point has really focused on the technical aspects of engineering, but I'm sure you realize there's a lot more to engineering than just the technical aspects. I'd like to provide some thoughts to you on what I consider to be important attributes of successful engineers, as well as some insight into my leadership philosophy. First off, some of my what I consider successful traits of engineers. First, respect the people that you work with. You're going to be working with people that know more than you do about certain things, and that you know more than they do on certain things. Keep in mind that those people, along with yourself, really should complement each other and be able to get a better result, better answer to the issue. Listen to what other people have to say. Listening is much more important than talking. You learn a lot more when you listen to what other people have to say and then contribute what you will. Be the go-to person in a crunch. And what I mean by that is as you're working or in industry or academia, whenever an emergency or an issue arises that needs to be dealt with immediately, you want to be the person that they come to get the answer, which is the go-to person in the crunch, because you're having the biggest impact by doing that. As part of being the go-to person, be very focused on results. Ultimately, that's how we're all judged, and ultimately that is the accomplishments of whatever work that we put into our engineering program. Learn and understand as much as you can about as much as you can. You know, there's more to any project than just the engineering aspects. There's going to be the finance aspects, the accounting aspects, the business aspects. Be sure to learn as much as you can, not just as it relates to the engineering, because ultimately the more you know, the better decision, the better recommendation that you can make. Never, one of my absolute unfavorites, is never say, "It's not my job." It may not be part of your current job description, but ultimately you are there to solve problems. If someone asks you to do something that's not in your job description, tell them that, it's not really what I do, but let me find out who knows and I'll get back with you. That way you're helping that person achieve their objectives. Be open to new ideas. At this point in your career, probably a lot of things are new ideas for you. But always recognize that there's always going to be a better way to do things, and be open to new ideas, and don't be too stuck in the rut of what you've done in the past. Along with that, don't avoid the hard issues, because ultimately the hard issues are where the real value is added. It's where you as an engineer can have the biggest impact. So don't avoid the hard issues. And then finally, give back. I know it's early in your career, but it's very important to me, it should be to you, that you use your skills that a lot of people don't have to give back and help society develop and grow. Now, a few thoughts I have on leadership. Excuse me. Everything starts with integrity, which means doing the right thing with your fellow workers, with your subordinates, with your contractors, the vendors, even in your competition. My personal experience is doing the right thing, doing the ethical thing. Usually, if not always, it also ends up being the right economic decision in the long term. It may not seem so in the short, but always in the long. Remember, on any particular project, know when to start at yes as opposed to starting at no. As engineers, we're trained to be conservative. We're actually trained to start at no, and then you have to convince me that you're right. And particularly on new innovative ideas, sometimes you have to start at yes because you can't prove it's the right answer. But when you're being innovative, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to get to yes immediately. Remember to take time to be a leader. There's a difference between being a manager and a leader. The analogy I've always heard is a manager tells you how to climb a ladder, a leader tells you what wall to put the ladder up against. It's very easy to get involved in the day-to-day issues and become just a manager and not recognize that it's very important to take a step back and actually be a leader. Surround yourself with the best people. The best means the smartest, the hardest working, the most ethical, and also the most fun. Because remember, you're probably going to spend more time with these people than you do with your family. 8, 10, 12 hours a day you'll be spending with these people. So you should want to be able to enjoy to be with them. Remember as you move throughout your career that as a leader, everybody is always watching you. They're watching what you do, they're watching what you don't do. They're watching what you say, what you don't say. And that is 24/7. So remember, always be alert to the fact that people are watching you. Another important thing I learned in my career is typically the most impactful projects, the most impactful ideas are the ones that you develop when you're not putting out fires, not dealing with today's crisis, but rather to set that time aside to do new things, to try new ideas. And that's where you're going to have the most impact. Creativity is exceptionally important. Be creative and encourage other people to be creative. Part of that is also recognizing when the creative ideas lead to failures as opposed to successes. It's okay to fail as long as you're doing everything you can to make the project a success. Not everything works, and that's okay, and celebrate those failures. You hear the term social license. That's also very important. What social license is recognizing that what you do not only impacts you, your company, your shareholder, your fellow employees, but also impacts the world that you live in. We used to have an idea when I was working that you never do anything that you would not be willing to do in your own backyard, because you do have impacts on people, on society, and be cognizant of those as you proceed through your career. And then finally, leave your ego at the door. It's very hard to think highly of ourselves, but at the end of the day, we're all there. Everyone that you're working with, everyone you deal with, we're all there to achieve a certain objective. And we bring our skills to the table, they bring their skills to the table. Leave your ego at the door. Hopefully I've given you a few things to think about as you progress through your career. Again, congratulations for achieving this magnificent milestone in your career. And as always, I end with Hail to Pitt.
Thank you, John. At this time, we will recognize all of our graduating master's and PhD students. At this time, we will recognize all of our undergraduate students. As we end the program, please join me in acknowledging the family members and friends who have contributed to your success emotionally, financially, and spiritually. They certainly deserve your recognition and thanks. Graduates, take a moment now to thank those who have supported you in this journey. They might be your family, your peers, your teaching assistant, your instructor, your advisor, whoever you have to thank for reaching this milestone. If you're with them, you might offer them a hug. If you're not with them, send them a text or email. We'll give you some time to do that now. Upon the completion of your degree, you will become Pitt alumni. As you succeed in your professional life, I encourage you to maintain the bonds between you and your classmates and with your Swanson School of Engineering through active participation in our many programs and events. Our best wishes are extended to you, your family, and your friends as you go on to change the world. Thank you to the Chemical Engineering Graduation Planning Team for this event. We thank them for their outstanding effort, specifically Professor Taryn Bales and Professor Bob Parker, Rob Toplak, Kristen Harper, Emily Kerr, Pat Park, Rita Lakia, Jason McDonald, and Monica Bell. Now, we would like to express our heartiest congratulations to all of our graduates. Thank you for joining our virtual ceremony. Please continue watching for messages from all the faculty and memories from your time here at Pitt.